So in today's video, we're going to talk about how to add a virtual event to either an existing RunSignup race or doing it while creating a brand new RunSignup race. So in our example, we're going to just go ahead and do this as a brand new race. So you can head to runsignup.com and select the create a race button, and this will bring you up to your race wizard. If you're adding the virtual event to an existing RunSignup race, you can skip that step and simply head directly into your race wizard from your race dashboard. So once you've got all of your basic information filled out, the next thing you'll want to do is set up your events. So we're going to have two events in our race. It's going to be a in-person 5K. For our in-person option, we'll set the type to run or run walk. We'll set a start date and time. Once you do that, you'll want to add another event because we're also going to add a virtual component. And then we'll create our virtual 5K event. And the main setting here when creating a virtual event is going to be changing the type so that it's virtual race/challenge. Once you do that, you're presented with additional settings here that you'll want to check or uncheck depending on your specific needs. So part of RunSignup's virtual platform is we allow participants to submit their own results for virtual races to RunSignup. So by default, when you set your event to be a virtual race type, we are going to automatically set this up for you and allow participants to submit their own results. The second setting here is whether or not you are going to be having a virtual challenge or not. In our case, this is just a simple 5K and not a challenge, so we are not going to have this checked on. And to quickly clarify, a virtual challenge is essentially kind of what it sounds like. A virtual challenge sees participants maybe over the course of a month try to run the most distance, and the most distance would hypothetically win that virtual challenge. So it basically means that participants are going to be submitting multiple results on top of each other, and their results are going to accumulate. In our case, we're not going to be doing that, just going to be a straight 5K. So we just want participants to submit one 5K result, most likely just their time, and that's all we kind of need. And once you do that, go through some of the additional race creation settings that you naturally will have to do. We have plenty of videos on how to go through your wizard, so make sure you're going through each step. In our case, we're going to skip through some of this, and we're going to head straight to our dashboard. So once you're in your dashboard, head over to Race Day Tools, Virtual Challenge Results, Configure Virtual Results. So one of the first things you'll want to take a look at is your accepting submission date. And this is essentially the window you're giving your participants to be able to submit their results into RunSignup for their virtual event. So anytime you're outside of this window, participants won't be able to submit results to RunSignup. So if you need to edit this window, simply select Virtual Result Settings. And then right here at the top, this accept submissions starting and accept submissions until setting is where you can kind of edit that. So in our case, for example, let's just say we want participants to have the entire month of July to do their 5K and submit their result to RunSignup. We would just make sure our starting date is July 1st, 2025, and our ending date is July 31st, 2025. By default, when you're doing this, we also have created a virtual result set for you, and we call it whatever your event is called. So in our case, we called it the virtual 5K. So participants are going to be submitting their results to this one result set called Virtual 5K. Typically, if you're doing this through a new race creation, you don't have to come through and edit or add a new result set. Continue scrolling down here. This isn't a challenge event, so we don't have to turn that on. And then here, you can kind of customize some of the things that your participants can submit. So for a lot of virtual 5Ks, marathons, half marathons, all you really need participants to do is submit their times. So by default, that's checked on. If you want to allow participants to also submit their elevation gain, you can do that. Distance for these virtual 5Ks and virtual half marathons, you typically don't have to allow for them to submit that type of data. Because naturally it's understood that, whatever time they're submitting for is for a 5K, half marathon, whatever that distance is. Some additional settings here, if you want to set min and max time values that participants can submit, i.e. someone can't submit a 10-minute world record 5K time, you can enter in a 12-minute minimum time that participants have to enter in. You can also do this for max time for whatever reason as well. If you are using RunSignup's Groups and Team feature, you can enable team results if you wanted to. In our case, we have enable groups and teams, so we can't do that. And then just kind of your basic sorting options. The main setting to really look out for is how should results be sorted. For virtual 5Ks and virtual half marathons, those types of events, naturally you want to sort by the lowest time. And then at the bottom, there's additional settings you as a race director can control that either allows participants to submit results more quickly without logging into a RunSignup account. You may want to approve results, so you can do that here as well. Though the default settings we have, typically a lot of races are good with and don't really touch these 3 specific settings. So really, once you've gone through that virtual results settings page and you've kind of configured it the way you want to configure it, that's really all you have to do. And this will allow participants to come in and submit their results to RunSignup virtually.